Okay, I'm trying really hard here on September 7th of 2022 to have a good day, okay? You know, don't get mad. If you find yourself getting irritated and getting mad, this is what I do. I tell myself, don't get mad. Okay, so I'm not going to get mad here, okay? I'm not going to tell you why I'm not going to get mad, but whatever it is, I don't want to get mad. So in the meantime, I got some more jars. These ones I got at $64 for 4 jars. I bought 2 cases. So I lucked out. That's better than $80 or $85. Okay, I don't know. I think Amazon, when you search out certain things, I don't know, they hide things sometimes. But anyway, I found some cheaper jars, and we know where I got that from for $1.77 for 800 grams, which is almost it is 2 pounds. So, you know, $1.77 for 2 pounds of organic black beans or lentils, which are extremely high in nutrients, right? Well, that's the Thai rice. That's the organic Thai rice. I had to finish boxing that up, like putting it away, right? I like to, for that kind of stuff, I like jars because it will sit for a long time. That is the black lentils, which are extremely high in nutrients, right? This one is the black beans, okay? And then we've got that pearl barley, which I'm going to keep upstairs. Keep that one upstairs. This one I'll just keep upstairs. But these ones here are going into food storage. Right? Now, I know some people don't see that as valuable, but, you know, we're just going into the Hunger Games here, people. All right? Like, there's some stuff going on. Like, seriously, man. You know, this mass migration of immigrants that are pushing out families like mine in the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, okay? Because those are the numbers across the board, right? You know, like, there's people in the States now that are starting to say that because of the high numbers of males crossing over, young males, right? Crossing over at the borders between Mexico and the United States, illegally for the most part. Oh, well, they are, right? That is a venue for the UN to establish itself with a military, if it wanted to draw upon those. You know, I'm trying to be, you know, this is YouTube, right? You know, so, I mean, for all I know, I'll get a strike for talking about illegal immigrants coming into the United States of America that are, like, on hold for the UN to hook them up with, you know, becoming soldiers so that they can bring in martial law into the United States of America to control the Americans as they use an outside workforce through an immigration process that is clearly trafficking human beings. Okay, it's not just young men between 17 and we'll say 35, but it's also children. Okay, so anyway, in Canada, it's done differently here, people. Okay, like these guys that are running around doing this property development out here in a pack of 10, buying up property after property as organized religion, you know, implement that system where, you know, if you evict a tenant like me out, the minute I get kicked out and move out or get thrown out or whatever, they can take and get $4,500 for this place versus $1,950, what I pay for rent. Okay, that is a problem. That right there has made it impossible for me basically to be able to afford really anything. Okay, anything. Okay, apartments are going at $1,700-$1,800 for old 3-bedroom apartments that I lived in and was paying $800 back in 2008. Okay? And they're cockroach infested, bed bug infested, mouse infested. They're riddled with mental illness because it's low income, quote unquote, right? With, a high level of mental dysfunction because of the poverty and the stress that comes around it with that cortisol, right? So we have our own UN. I don't want to call them military because they're not military, but like a co-op. Like they've co-opted British Columbia, Canada to, yeah, they operate like an underground military, people. Like I can walk you by houses out here where at night you'll see like a big work van with another work van with a vehicle, and a vehicle, all in one little teeny weeny driveway that's being used to wipe out house after house after house after house as they go down the block to block, from district to district, right across this province. And they have a wide reach because they're now going out into areas like Kitimat, which is up by Alaska, and places like that, because the federal government, I don't know if it's in partnership with the provincial government, but the federal government, I think, or maybe it was the provincial government or both, I don't know. I just know that they've coughed up over $1 million to set up these immigrants that are coming into the country, right here in Canada, through work visas, student visas, refugees, landed immigrant, just the whole family, sponsorship, whatever it is, okay? To start businesses, as they're connected to that organized religion that once you get one or two in the neighborhood, basically, more move in and you get pushed out. Because they run in packs. They call it business. I call it genocide. So, I don't know what all this is going to do for me. My family doesn't even really appreciate it. My son somewhat more because he likes to eat. To what degree? I don't know. I guess it really depends what happens with the economy over the next 1 to 5 years. If it continues to go like this, then yeah, for sure he's going to appreciate what I did. As for Tisha, it's hard to say, right? I mean, I wouldn't abandon her, people, even though we've got that, I don't want to say parent-teen conflict, but it's kind of like parent-teen conflict, right, going on right now, setting boundaries, that kind of stuff. But I would never abandon her and the kids and Alex. If it got real bad, obviously, I've got food to feed, help, right? And I'd never turn her away. But when you're at this point where, food is still somewhat readily available in British Columbia, Canada, because the housing market is booming, right along with the trafficking of human body parts, whether by legal donation in a cadaver sense, or whether it's done through the black market, like in Chemay's sense, okay? Not to mention the fentanyl sales and just whatever else goes on crooked in British Columbia, Canada. But yeah, no, I equate what these guys, so-called quote-unquote property developers, are doing to this province and to families like mine, which is a large population right across the province, right? To me, it's like war. It's like a silent war that I can't fight, because it's organized religion that leads into organized crime, which is connected to world politics. Okay? And everybody justifies it as Well, it's just business. Or they did it to themselves. Get out. You can't find a house. You can't look after your grandkids. You can't have this and you can't have that. You did it to yourself. Somehow we're doing all this to ourselves, but yet the ones running around tearing down all the houses, destroying household after household after household in the great grand scheme of the scheme. There's the predator class, and then there's the victims to that predator class. Well, you know, I already feel like there's already a foreign military in Canada, in British Columbia, Canada. That's how I feel. I feel that there's already a war right now. I mean, I've been saying it, welcome to the new Congo, for a long time. But just with the numbers of young men banding up out here and with their all-wise gurus showing them the way and slapping down a whole bunch of money so that they can accumulate more property in the name of progress. Listen, I can't even get underneath my sink fixed with gluing a pipe. I had to unclog it myself. It's been how long now? 7 months. So I'm looking to go to Canadian Tire, I guess, or Home Depot and figure out what glue I have to use and try and do it for myself, okay? Because the more they can keep you uncomfortable, unhappy, feeling miserable, scared, all back to that loose harvesting, to which that's what a military does. They go around from house to house terrorizing everybody when they're trying to improve the neighborhood and get rid of everybody, right? So they can take over and just do what they want and move somebody else in. So that's kind of how I see things now. I feel like we've got a foreign UN military already in operation in British Columbia, Canada, and that's why the government of British Columbia, Canada, and the Attorney General and the Public Safety and Solicitor General don't give a shit about families like mine, okay? Because we're under a military attack, and they know it, and they're enabling it to happen, and they allow it to happen. They want it to happen because it stimulates the economy, right? It puts the military to work. It puts everybody into check. It flushes out the riffraff, right? It traffics the human beings that fall through the cracks, like Uncle John, so that they could be medically kidnapped and have their assets sealed and seized and, you know, and then tucked away like a dirty secret, and they die and everyone forgets about them. Or the children can prop up the Ministry of Children and Family Development via through, you know, the foster care system where, you know, there is some level of normality for a while for those ones that are making $3,000 looking after, say, someone like Amari, right? After they implode my house, okay? If that isn't military tactics, people, I don't know what is. So in the meantime, Andre's going to learn how to cook. Black lentils, among other things. Okay, so before I go too far here, so there you go. It's sealed. See? You can see. Right? I put it in the fridge. Look how nice and white that is. Now this is one that I didn't skim, and you can see what's going on there, okay? This is the one I did. Do you see the difference? Now, technically, this should be shelf stable for quite a few years as long as the seal remains. Okay? Technically. But in this situation, like I said, I still have a bit of room in Auntie Shemay's fridge. So I'm just putting those ones into Auntie Shemay's fridge. But when it comes to the beef, do you see? Right? You need to freeze them. Okay? You don't have to seal them because you're going to freeze them. Okay? I mean, I suppose you could if you wanted to, but besides that point, right? I mean, if you got the time, go ahead. But they have best to either go in the fridge, but they'll last apparently indefinitely if you freeze them, and that would be beef fat. Okay? So hold on. Okay, so now I'm downstairs. I'm trying so hard to have a good day here and not get mad. But it's kind of hard not to be annoyed, okay? Seriously, you don't know how much I've been going through, and if you do know, then you know. And let me tell you something. It hasn't been easy, people. Like we already know I suffer from panic attacks, but, you know, yesterday Rhea came over, right? Because I told her, you go through the garage, whatever's out there, you know, if there's something I want, I'll take it back, because I don't know what's all out there, right? Because it's just going out the door, right? Okay. So anyway, you know, she looked and she goes, and now I can understand why you'd be mad. And I'm like, yeah. But besides that point, so anyway, we went through half of it. She's going to come over on a couple more days from now or whenever, and we're going to go through the other half. And then over the weekend, my son can carry whatever's left out to the front. Andre can have his little 50-cent, $2 yard sale, whatever it is. I don't care, people. I'm at the point where I told Rhea like this. The one thing that Shemay taught me when she died, right here, right where I'm fucking standing, okay, her head literally is right where I was standing, and I was breathing into her mouth as the bubbles were coming up through the nose and back up through the mouth, because she was dead, okay? Is once you die, I've said it before, and I'll continue to say it, poof, you're gone. Nothing moves except you. Everything else stays behind, which at the end of the day, it becomes insignificant. So that's how I'm dealing with this shit. That's with these people just dumping their crap on me. Whether it's displaced anger and or whether it's throwing things out the door, or whether it's or whatever. You don't like it, you can move, take it as is, not fixing anything. Just can't wait for you to get the fuck out, because we know once you're out, that's it. You're never gonna find another fucking house, and you're not gonna have anything, because at the end of the day, we're gonna feed you bug food. I mean, how can you not get mad? Right? How can you not get mad? These property developers, oh, we're improving the neighborhood. Tear down all the fucking trees, kill all the freaking animals, force tens of thousands out into homelessness, separate and break up families, murder by fentanyl, illegal organ harvesting. How can you not get mad? But they're improving the freaking neighborhood, right? Yeah, okay. They're improving the neighborhood only for themselves, because if you go into their community with the peacocks flying around, they're not eating bug food. They're trying to figure out how they're going to put it into your food source as you sit up in these little boxes that they build and dub them as condos. So they can get rich and you can get kicked out because you can't afford the rent. Or the property tax on a condo that's 5 stories high with 200 units in it. As everybody's getting their electricity cut off because there's no gas, quite possibly in the near future, in Canada. Or they're going to be going to the grocery store, and because there are no blackberry bushes, there are no apple trees, there are no pear trees, there are no walnut trees, there are no grapevines. Are you listening to me? This is what they're doing, destroying everything in their fucking path. You will have no choice but to go to their grocery stores and eat their freaking bugs. How can you not get mad? And trust me, their grocery stores will be somewhere else with a gate around it. As they live in their freaking gated communities, people, plotting and scheming as to what neighborhood they're going to tear down next. So they can improve it. And bring in a dumbed down immigrant class so they can target who they want to target, exploit who they want to exploit, traffic who they want to traffic. Okay? And just basically use until there's nothing fucking left to use. Oh, I don't want to get mad, but as I do the things that I do, I don't, what else can I think about? Well, that's the future that these property developers have brought to British Columbia, Canada. I need to get into these cupboards so I can teach my grandson how to grow microgreens. Only I'm having a hard time here. Oops. And then I'll get picked on because I did this. I moved things around. I disrupted my son's space. You watch. I'll be crabbing on about, oh, he came home and said I did this and I did that. Hold on a minute. Okay, so I'm looking for something because my back drain in the yard floods and everything wants to come rushing into the basement. We got caught off guard. My son had me running around at 6 o'clock in the morning looking for this and looking for that. I busted my pump for my pond because it just couldn't handle whatever was going on out there. Anyway, it's a cord and it's got 3 prongs to it, right? That's why. That's kind of why I'm mad, because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to find it, even though I have it. But I have to go looking for it. It could be anywhere. Okay. Now, I bought this over the year of 2021. I spaced it out over a year in between all that food prep with the beans and the micro seeds and just whatever I was buying, okay? As if I can see anything, people. As if I can... Oh, boo-boo, anything here, okay? I just want to bring up a few things to get us started. Because, we have to learn pH and all this stuff, but I can't see, people. That's the problem. And that makes, and I'm trying hard not to get mad with that, right? Because, what can I do? Okay, what is this? Wine and beer making. Well, okay, that's just in case. Because I have grapes until they're cut down. Until they're cut down, people. Okay, I have a timer. I thought that would be good for Andre to learn. So we'll keep that out. Right? What else is in here? I don't know. Let's see. Soil test kit. Good for the tomato plants. We'll bring that up. That's a humidity thing. So we'll bring that up. All to do with homeschooling, people, okay? Oh, here's a cord of some kind, I think. Or no, this is a... What is this? Maybe this is a heat mat? Or maybe it's a cord. I'll come back. Just hold on a minute. Okay, so like I said, I'm trying not to get mad here now. Maybe I moved the, like I'm missing shit here, right? I'm hoping that whatever I know I got is upstairs in War Room 1 behind the thing there. Because if it's not there, then that means my son probably threw it out. Okay? I'm hoping that my little heating mat that I bought for all this stuff is upstairs. Okay? But, like, I'm going to have to go back into my Amazon account and double check on some of this shit because I don't know. I don't understand. Like, I'll just show you, for example. Now, maybe, you know, it's been a while, so maybe I just forgot, right? Who knows? But I tried to buy, like, just the basic stuff, right? In terms of, like, this is the solution. Like, I'm going to bring all this stuff up, okay? Because we're going to learn how to use it. This is obviously calcium, right? Where am I? Okay? Tomatoes will love that. And there's this. Now, this here doesn't belong in here, but I guess you can't fit 3. So, maybe there was paper in there. I don't know. Maybe this one just goes in there. I don't know. That's a pH indicator. Okay, so whatever. This is 12% peroxide. You need that to help cut down on any funguses and stuff like that that grow on microgreens. You just spray lightly, right? So, but I don't know. So anyway, there's that. Like I said, I'm trying not to have a bad day here. I guess that's, I don't know what that is, but obviously something for microgreens, so I'll bring that up too. And then we've got, I think this is neem oil, and then that is for, again, to control fungus and whatever, right? Okay, so we got that, right? We're going to try different methods here, so I'm going to bring up these 2 little pumps, right? Because you can do microgreens with irrigation. And that's putting air into the water. It's not necessary, but again, I was thinking of Andre. So I'm going to bring those up anyway. We're going to figure it out, right? And then, what's this? This is a different kind of grow solution, right? So, you know, needless to say, people, I don't feel like my shit's safe. Like, seriously, I just don't. Like, the way people just trash my life, trash me, trash talk me, you know, trash my shit, trash my life, trash my family. Like that judge. Oh, you can't litigate for your grandson. You have to go get a lawyer to do it for you, and it's got to be at arm's length. No, motherfucker, you got another thing. Sorry, no, boo-boo. Mother boo-boo, you got another thing coming. You're not going to isolate me down into that manufactured poverty where you ordered that I can't represent my grandson who was injured at the time of his birth with malicious intent because my family has been gang stalked and targeted for years, to which he ignored people and again tried to separate Amari from that big pile of okay? Just, you know, I think about this shit, right? Like, you know, how dare he? How dare he? Okay, what? Okay, Tisha not gonna help me now for a while, right? Because, you know, there's boundaries that need to be set here, people, okay? At the end of the day, right, she can live her life, I'll live mine. She doesn't agree with me, so be it. I don't agree with her, so be it. I don't go to Alex's house and cause a bunch of freaking ruckus. Tell her to do this, tell her to do that, getting her jumping through fucking hoops because of whatever, and blah, 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 blah. But yet she seems to think she can have that little pissing contest with me. Well, no, she's not going to have it with me, people. I'm already stressed out to the max here, okay? I'm overworked, whatever, okay? I'm holding down the fort, as you can see, okay? So, you know, I'm now having to deal with these workers. This is displaced anger because I'm kind of mad, right? I'm trying to maintain on, you know, being, what is that called? What? Responsible? Diplomatic? Okay? Respectful to authority, to authority? The medical one at that, as if they deserve my respect in any kind of freaking capacity after what's happened to my family in the New Congo. Yeah, okay. So anyway, I'm having to, now I've been talking to them, like this is in regards to Mari with all these different teams, right? Okay. And, I'm like informing them that you're going to be dealing with me now for a while, right? Is everything okay? I said, well, it's just kind of like parent-teen conflict. Just see it as that, right? Like you're just going to be dealing with me for a while, okay? So, we're running through, and I'm like, okay, well, because he's 5 now, and they're trying to push him into school. Okay, they gave me the standard, which I asked them to come pick it up because I told the woman yesterday on the phone that from the moment I looked at it, I never liked it, never wanted it, but they kind of like, I don't want to say forced it on me, but they guilt tripped me into taking it. It's been sitting in the playroom for like ever since it got here, right? It doesn't move. It's just taking up space. It's heavy and I won't use it. So I told them like, you guys can come. But you see, they gave it to me, people, because they were hoping that I'd put him into school because I'd be too tired to look after him. If they can wear you down and break your spirit, then it's easy for them to come in and pick one off here and pick one off there. Or you're just going to toss away your responsibility because, you're tired, right? So whatever, okay. I said, he's doing homeschooling. That's, he's, trust me, you're going to see what I'm going to do with Mari and Andre together at the same time when it comes to that, okay? Okay. Well, you can have people come into your house, right? And, they'll play with him. They'll, do speech. Yeah, okay. Or whatever. There's 2 different kinds of workers that can come into your house, spend an hour or 2 while you go off and garden or do dishes or whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm not in the mood to be having strangers going through my house right now. Not this year. I don't know about next year. I'm not even thinking about next year. I'm taking it 1 year at a time because I don't even know if I'm going to be here next year, people, because of this bullshit that I have to deal with constantly. Because it just doesn't fucking stop. Okay? And I try and do the right thing. In terms of, I got food. All I need is 2 or 3 cases of coconut milk, which I'll probably get from Organic Matters, and it will be organic coconut milk. I'll just order 3 cases at 12 per case, or whatever. I'm gonna get myself a bunch of raisins, because they store forever, to go with my rice pudding with my coconut milk. Okay? I'm doing the right thing. Okay? So anyway, they're like, you can tell they're not happy because they're not talking, right? And I'm like, well, what do I got to, like, because he's 5 now, and because he's not going into school, they're guilt tripping. This is how I interpret it, people. Okay, ever since I've gotten Amari, I feel like I'm under a microscope. They want an Amazon out of a child that was basically damaged by their kind in terms of the medical profession, anything to do with the medical profession when it relates to the public union sector, okay? I can't say it any other freaking way. That's why I file lawsuits to which the judge now is being mischievous and has dismissed it with a bunch of misinformation in there as he's trying to secure Amari's lot in life, that he's always going to be held to the mercy of these programs that's basically forced on me, people. They're forced on me. I don't even have a freaking choice. And this irritates me, and it's been like this ever since we found out that Amari had cerebral palsy, and then all of a sudden you're expected to jump through all these freaking hoops under the guise of, well, it's medical intervention. It's medical this and medical. Well, if you're so medical, why don't you dig deep and find out what the freak happened to Amari and deal with that? Come to make a wrong right so that Amari can have maybe some private care in there instead of all fucking public care where it becomes like you're under a freaking microscope with another social worker under MCFD, Ministry of Children and Family Development, never knowing when the rug's gonna be pulled out from underneath your freaking feet because he didn't weigh in where they wanted him to weigh in. He didn't speak what they wanted him to speak. He didn't do what they wanted him to do. And it's not just one group, it's a whole fucking slew of them. You're not just dealing with one, you're dealing with 5 different groups. And it's medical intervention. So you're obligated to do it. That makes me angry, people. Okay? It just makes me angry because what more reason to injure him to secure those positions? And then slide him into that research study. Right? He goes for x-rays every 6 months because of this research study, people. Nothing more, nothing less. If there was no research study, they wouldn't be doing x-rays on his hips and his groin area every 6 months. And they want to do this for his whole freaking life. Like, what the hell is that? What, preventative measure? Oh, we're trying to catch the hip before it pops out? Oh, come on. No, you're securing your freaking budget for your research study. That's what you're doing. It makes me mad, people, that they exploit my grandson. So, like, I'm talking on the phone yesterday. I'm like, okay, well, he's 5 years old now. We know he's not going into the school system. I'm putting him in with homeschooling. I already told Janet, the last social worker, that's a different kind of social worker that deals with these child development program for the first 5 years of their life under that intervention program that the government freaking put together through their hip surveillance program and their at-home program. To which I'm on social assistance. So by default, because I can't afford whatever it is, I'm expected to participate. There is no, well, maybe I'd like to do private care. And then when I'm seeking private care, looking for lawyers, I get hung up, because the only big money to make out here in British Columbia, Canada, is fake car accidents so that it can launder their freaking money as they're harvesting organs out here. Okay? In terms of laundering money through car insurance claims. Fraudulent car insurance claims. Or even if it's a legitimate car accident. That's the only thing you're going to find when it comes to injury. And this stupid judge knows it. But yet, he's made it so that Amari's forever getting those x-rays every 6 months. And whatever else interventions that these people want to do. Not because they want to, but because they can. So what that does is it puts me in a position where I can never, ever, ever, ever live up to their expectations, because it will never, ever, ever be enough, people, because Amari is a damaged child, and it's a result because of what they did as a collective union that partners up with organized religion. It was a Punjabi who delivered Amari. And then they hook him into their public programs, and they keep your feet to the fire. That's what they do. They keep your feet to the fire. And I don't like it. It makes me mad. Okay? Because I think it's selfish on their part and unfair. All right? So, I don't know. I'm just venting right now because like I'm talking on the phone with this woman yesterday, and I could tell that she's not like extremely happy with my stance in terms of, well, he's staying home. I just listen. I just spent $100. I'm gonna wait till it comes in the mail and I'll show you. I just spent $130. As it was bugging my son for 2 days. You got to send this e-transfer. You got to send this e-transfer to this woman in Courtney. Because I just spent $130. It was $80 for what she was selling. And I had $50 to ship it to me. Now, I have a set upstairs. It's not a complete full set. It almost is, but it's missing its pen, which you put a battery in, and then you use the pen for these cards that if you get the right answer, it blinks. That's perfect for Amari. But I needed the pen. I've been looking for a pen for years and years and years and years and years and years. Well, anyway, I went on eBay. I found in the States, but can't deliver to the States. And I thought, oh, just by chance, try Facebook Market. Went on to Facebook Market, and it was like godsend, like that little metal thimble, right? That one that I found in all my junk, and I needed it for leather when I come time to do the leather work, right? Anyway, there was a woman that's selling the same thing that I've got, that I just need basically the pen. I told her I'm buying the whole set that you've got because I only need the pen, because I already basically have the set at home. But now that so, for Amari. But Andre's also going to learn to read those books better. Because now I got two. One for Amari, one for Andre. In terms of, we know that Amari will probably never, ever read, although I'm sure these people that I'm dealing with expect him to. Mm-hmm. You see, that's the thing. They expect him to do it. And they expect me to get him to do it. That's the expectation. Among other expectations. Anyway. Like, who does that? Who spends $130 for a freaking little yellow pen? I do. But I get now, you'll see, it will be fun. It will be fun, okay? It will be fun. But I don't want strangers trampling through my house. No. So it's like I'm obligated. It's almost like a marriage. It's like I've been forced into a freaking marriage that I don't want, people. Simply because I choose to look after my grandson. So if that's not trying to break my spirit and make it miserable for me, and of course they do it in a nice way, right? I mean, it's just being professional, and they're just trying to help, and, it's just the right thing to do, and, but as soon as you kind of put the brakes on and you start saying, well, slow down, like I said, like, why do I have to take him out, especially in the winter months? All of a sudden, Tisha's going out of the house 2 times a month, once a month, it's pissing rain out there, freezing cold. She's going to this appointment, that appointment, this appointment. I said, that shit needs to stop. That's just bullshit, right? Oh, well, we can try and do back to back. You come in and we'll do this feeding team and we'll do this team. Okay, sure. Fine, we'll do that. But I can tell you right now, he's never going to live up to their expectations, people. Never, because they're not there to quote unquote help like they say they're trying to do. I don't know, like, they're just, they're just looking for just whatever. Whatever. You can't fix him. You can only make his life comfortable and happy to the best of your ability. But you shouldn't be hounded and made to feel like crap all the time. On guard, waiting for the next paramedic to show up and call MCFD on you. And for what? I don't know. Anyway, I'm just going to bring all this shit upstairs. Most of it. And I'll have to just study up on it. I have to figure out which ones I want. That's the whole purpose of the exercise. That's why I bought it. Andre does better to learn if he's being interactive with things. Hands-on, right? And he's maturing now. So you can communicate with him more. And he's getting to be somewhat more reasonable when he's not being stubborn. So his mind is opening up, right? So I didn't mind spending $130 for that pen, because I bought it basically for the pen for Amari, because at the end of the day it also spills on to Andre, where he can now be a part of this learning process that I'm going to be involving Amari in with, right? To try and teach him something. I don't know what he's capable of learning, people. We're going to find out. Can he learn ABCs? Will he be able to distinguish ABCs? Like, who knows? Like, he can barely talk. You hear him. He screams and he giggles and he... whatever he does, he does it. He can say Nana. Oh, definitely. When he wants me, he definitely says Nana. But it's a very low tone, right? You have to really... like, Nana, Nana... It doesn't say na-na. It's na-na, na-na. It's very deep, eh? So I know. I've heard him enough times to know when he's actually calling me. So that's good. And we know he's a little whippersnapper, right? So, you know, and like I brought in the tomato chairs so that he can start cooking and stuff, right? Now, I did find the cords, so this is good, right? So we've got one for the kitchen and one for the war room, one for the tomato plants, okay? All right, so we're going to set up 2 separate areas. And I'll just bring up these solutions. I don't know where I'll put them, but I'll just put them up there for now. And then I'll figure out what I want to use. And then once I use them, I can always bring what I'm not using back downstairs and put it towards Auntie Shemay's room and try and empty out these drawers so that Marina can have them for her sewing, right? She likes to sew, so, you know, she needs a little space for that, right? And like I am trying to be really copacetic with what's going on in terms of, like, you know, like, just whatever, right? Just, you know, I really do miss Sierra. She was a great little cook, and, you know, she loved to clean, and, you know, she was a little go-getter when she was feeling healthy and all that stuff, people, right? And obviously I miss Shemay, and, you know, and I just feel like I'm being picked on all the fucking time. You know, if I don't get it from my landlord, I get it from my son. If I don't get it from my son, I get it from my daughter. If I don't get it from my freaking daughter, I get it from these workers that I come into contact with Amari, because, you know, whatever, right? They themselves are trying to feel fucking important, right? You know, but not one of them will acknowledge that Amari was injured at the time of his birth and that he deserves justice. Not one, not freaking one. Not that that's a topic, but the subject has come up. They don't care about that. They don't care about that, people. They'd rather put their heads in the sand and ignore it, because ultimately at the end of the day it benefits them, than to freaking acknowledge it and stand up against it so that it doesn't happen to another family, and especially to another child. Amari has to live with this crap for their whole freaking life. And trust me, when I'm gone and I'm not looking after him, he's going to miss me, people. He is going to miss me. Just like he missed his mother. So in the meantime, I guess I'll carry this shit upstairs. And I'm going to work on setting up the lights first. I got to get these tomato plants in, because I'm all paranoid because of Julian's sister coming into the yard and now attacking my tomato plants, okay? Like, that girl has traumatized me so much. That mother that popped that thing out of her vagina's got absolutely nothing to be proud of. Okay, I might be having problems with my daughter right now, but my daughter didn't go around town freaking sneaking around people's back and planting this and planting and plotting and scheming, and, you know, she doesn't do any of that kind of crap. She doesn't walk around with freaking knives in her pocket and, you know, acting like some wannabe gangster and making threats on people. She sure in the hell doesn't wish for other people to be dead and all this other crap, right? So whatever's going on with me and Tisha, you know, it is what it is, okay? But I'm proud of Tisha, okay? For everything that we've been through as a family, with this gang stalking and targeting and just whatever, Tisha's been doing pretty damn good, considering all things said. So maybe I should just call this a bitch fest. Ended up being a freaking bitch fest. That's all it was. Bloody bitch fest. Because I'm annoyed. right? I'm freaking annoyed. But I'm moving along. So even when you're annoyed, just keep moving along. Just keep busy, okay? Right, just keep busy. Okay, so now I'm upstairs. Take all that stuff downstairs. Put it away. It sits there for however long. I just pulled out a whole... You know that big pot, the one that I really like? I had to have a hissy fit over. Well, they haven't cleared out that cupboard yet, right? But they're going to let the pot stay. Anyway, I went in there, people, and pulled out myself a couple of beautiful roasting pans. Different kinds, right? Nice, heavy duty. You can't find them like this anymore, right? And anyway, I just pushed them further down towards Auntie Shemay's room in the business room. Just, you know, if I'm not bringing it upstairs. Like, you know, it's like, I feel so displaced, you know? And like something came into and just started scattering and throwing and tossing things around. And I'm talking! You know, I was so annoyed, right? And where all that other stuff was for the hydroponics, I mean, it was just a matter of time before I had to move it anyway, right? So it's like, and even then there's still a few things lingering behind. I left 2 drawers open for Marina so she can use those drawers. I emptied them out for her. Emptying out my stuff for somebody else. As I carry the debt load. You see, this is what my son doesn't understand. I carry the debt load, people. The only advantage to that debt load, though, is there's not much more that I need to go into debt for. Right? I already been there, done that with 5 kids later and 2 grandkids, okay? But I remain with that debt load. And as things are going higher and higher, there's no extra income, right? Because it's fixed in terms of what I get from downstairs, right? Between my son and this girl who basically only pays $300. I'm emptying out my drawers so that she can pay $300. As she basically takes over 3/4 of the basement. Well, maybe 2/3. She doesn't understand. I don't think she fully understands why I do food prep. And even if she did understand, I don't think she cares. And she probably sees it as redundant. So I'm trying to ignore it, though. Right? It was nice. I emptied out 2 drawers, and they can empty out the 3rd drawer for me because it's just hoses and cords and screws and stuff like that. It's nothing major, right? So she can get 3 drawers for all her sewing stuff versus leaving it, you know, she can do whatever she wants. So it's not like I'm not trying to be nice here, okay, in terms of copacetic, get along, be happy, you know, give my blessings, whatever. It's just, I'm so agitated, right? Just, I'm sure once I get it, I'm still, once the basement gets cleared out, a lot of that stuff is gone, out of sight, out of mind, right? And then, you know, I get into the yard a bit, right? We know what I'm going to do with that. I got the tarps for it, so I'm just a matter of time before I do it. I'll probably do it before I go to the hospital because, you know, they're going to want to do something and I'm not going to be able to lift and bend and pull and strain and, you know, I'm not going to be able to do any of that kind of stuff. So I better do it now before I go to the hospital. So, you know, it's harder for me, right? And then I get that, well, you know, Murray is quiet. he's 5, and if you're not going to put him in school, and he's going to another team, but you can keep us for an extra year. And I'm like, okay, well, I already requested that with Janet, so what's going to happen after a year? Then what happens? Like, what am I obligated to? It's not about what happens, people. It's about what I'm being obligated to, right? It's like you don't have a choice, right? It's forced upon you, because if you don't take what they give you or offer you, basically, somehow you become quote-unquote negligent, right? Well, I guess they assign a different team to follow up on this, that, and everything else, so that they can keep you on those appointments 10 times a year, if not more, including x-rays 2 times a year for his hips. Okay? Like, that's too much. It's just too much. I've been saying it ever since I got him, and we jumped on this bandwagon. I don't think it's right. I don't. I just don't. This is why I want more private care for him as he ages. Right? But the thing is, the older they get, the less, I don't want to say valuable they become, but that's basically what happens, right? Because, there's a cost to looking after him, because, you have to move him and change his clothes and do everything for him, right? And, with this death culture that we live in, right, assisted suicide, that's what they'll do when he's older. And they have a recipient for his organs, people. That's what will happen. And the judge has basically secured him with that, because there's no hope in hell of me finding a lawyer that will represent a birth injury out here, okay? Don't get me wrong. I will attempt to try it again. It's not like I haven't tried it, because I have. I phoned around different freaking law firms, and none of them take those kind of things. It's just car accidents, because it's easy peasy money. But they don't want to do birth injuries. Nope. So, this judge just set Amari up to be a pincushion to public programs and research studies. And then eventually they'll be saying, oh, he's miserable. Look at him. Look how miserable he is. He wants to die. Yeah, okay, well, we'll just sign him off. And, and then since, he's dead now, we'll just take it. Well, we'll take his organs before we actually flick the switch. Do it Chinese style, right? Because you'd never know the truth. You see, that's the thing. You'd never know the truth, people, because it's not like you can get an independent autopsy in British Columbia, Canada. God forbid. God forbid if we were to hold our corrupt politicians and healthcare employees and banking systems and those kind of things to account. So much for having a good day, eh? Anyway, I'm sure once everything gets more organized, put away, it will be okay. Except for maybe this. Right? But for now, I'm still managing. It's just a little harder, and I get dizzy sometimes, right? Because my eyes aren't focusing, right? And I'm working really hard. I've been like a steady pace, just nonstop, pretty much, as usual. Right. Anyway. Okay, so wait till you see this pen that I paid $130 for. But trust me, it's well worth it. No regrets.